is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it. The first thing I want to do tonight is I want to give you guys an analogy, and I feel like most of you will be able to relate to the analogy and understand exactly what I'm about to explain. So let's just imagine for a second that you are playing basketball, right? And you were playing basketball in front of like your entire school. Everyone was watching the game. You had the ball and you're dribbling the ball, and the person guarding you, the person defending you, you crossed them over. Literally, it was like the worst crossover. Well, the best crossover, actually the worst for them. But they fell down, they broke both their ankles. You step back and you hit a three, nothing but net. I mean, you properly swished it, like it was beautiful. The reaction of every single person in that gym, all their energy, all the craziness, wow, we just witnessed something epic. All the craziness, all that energy that they're releasing, they're literally giving it to you. Not only are they giving it to you, but you're also receiving it from them, right? Okay, so now let's consider the same thing, literally the same gym, full up, packed out, sold out. You cross someone over, you break their ankles, you snap their kneecaps, everything. It's like the best crossover ever. You do a 360, you step back, and you sink it, nothing but net. But only this time, not one person says a word. Not one person reacts, not one person says anything. Everyone's just on their phone, and the people that aren't on their phone watching the basketball don't react. At that point, nobody in that gym gave you their energy. It's as if like the crossover didn't even happen. It's as if you didn't cross anyone up. You literally might as well have not crossed anyone up. I think this analogy, it resonates to how a lot of times in life, the things that seem most important to us are the things that we give most of our energy to. For instance, let's say you're online and you hear a negative comment, or you read one. The person who commented it, they put out a certain energy. It's negative, but it's down to you to receive it, maybe even reciprocate it. You know what's so crazy though? You know, if you were to ignore that comment, not only is it as if the comment didn't even exist, but you didn't give that person who basically had a handout and said, yo, here, take this evil energy, take this negative energy and do something with it, let it affect you, because that's what I want. Not only did you give them no energy, but it's as if they didn't even say anything. What you give most of your energy to is what is going to be most important to you. You spend time with your friends and family the most out of anyone in your life. Guess who is most important out of anyone in your life? Friends and family. It's not a coincidence. The next time you're in a situation whereby you're handed an opportunity to respond, to receive, think about the energy, think about the usefulness of said energy, said handout. If this energy is not helpful, it's not useful, don't reciprocate it. Don't entertain it. It always seems impossible until it's done. I think this is one of the reasons why finding a suitable idol, a suitable mentor, someone to look up to. Now it's funny because when people think of someone to look up to, they think of kids, you know, or like you have to be a good example to kids. But it's not only kids that benefit from having an idol, someone that you can look up to. I say it's important because let's say you're trying to venture, you're on a venture to something, you're trying to achieve something, you're an entrepreneur, you have a 9 to 5, you're in school, regardless. Let's just take school school, let's say you're in school and you're studying and you have a dream job and you want to accomplish this during the hardest times, the hardest periods, during study periods, during tests, when it gets the most difficult. Having that idol to look up to makes it easier, because subconsciously and very, very consciously, you realize that someone has done it before you. People have done it before you, meaning that what you're aspiring to is very much possible. And that would make your journey a lot easier. The first Sleepiest Voice Ever video that I made, I discussed emotional acceleration. Have you guys ever noticed? So I'm assuming that a lot of us, most of us, 99% of us watching this video have been to school, have been in a situation where you're a student, right? Have you ever noticed that when you have something very difficult to do, something that maybe you don't want to do, and it's difficult, it's tedious, it's long, it's annoying, frustrating, in your mind, whether subconsciously or very, very, very consciously, because for me it's very consciously, but in your mind, you create a thing. You create a thing to aspire towards, to aspire to. So, for example, after this long, hard test, after this long, hard study session, I'm going to watch this movie, and it's going to be amazing. After this long, hard study session, I'm going to order some good ass Chinese food, some good junk food. There's always something. It's as if like it's a light, right? And you hold on to it during your hard times when you're down. You know what's so crazy though? Think of everything I just said. Fast food, watching a movie, maybe hanging out with friends. These things are very normal. I mean, it's not amazing to eat fast food, it's not amazing to watch a movie that you've probably seen before. None of these things are amazing, but that's not the point. What makes the feeling of it even better is the fact that you're going through an emotional acceleration. The destination is said thing that you've grabbed onto, and you're emotionally accelerating towards it. They say that what fulfills people the most is the journey, not necessarily the destination. Let's say you have a set goal, whatever the goal is, you have a set goal. When you achieve said goal, you're happy, of course, you're excited, you're relieved, celebratory. But what happens next? Well, what is next? The only logical thing is to have another goal to aspire towards. And this analogy can be related to the mountaintop analogy. I think, was I going to cover this in my Sleepiest Voice series? I'm not sure, but I'll talk about it now. Maybe I'll talk about it again then in more detail. But basically, the mountaintop analogy states, or basically revolves around the theory that, let's say you are climbing a mountain. You're climbing the mountain, you're climbing it, you're just climbing it, scaling it. Once you reach the mountain top, okay, you're at the top of the mountain, and everything seems fine, it's great, you made it, everything's great. You know what happens though, more time. In the distance, you see another mountain, even taller than the mountain that you've climbed. And it's like, damn, I kind of want to climb that mountain. I really enjoyed climbing this mountain, but once I've got to the top now, it's like, I'm happy, and I was happy, but now it's like, I need more. I'm gonna climb that mountain over there. Your fulfillment comes through the journey towards your goals that you set, not necessarily the destination. People think, yo, when I leave school, I'm gonna be happy. When I get a job, I'm gonna be happy. When I get this house, this really nice car, this girl, this guy, I'm gonna be happy. When I have kids, I'm gonna be happy. When I retire, I'm gonna be happy. But what really happens is once you achieve the goal, you finish school. When you finish school, it's like, bro, now what? Okay, let's go on to the next goal, getting a 9 to 5. Now what? The journey is much more fulfilling, much better than the destination. Don't get it twisted, obviously the destination is the main goal. But always trust the process and appreciate the process. The process is quite literally everything. If you're going through hell, keep going. Yes. If you're going through hell, keep going. Let's imagine that you're in a rainforest. You know that there is land at the end of the rainforest, but you're in the middle of the rainforest. You're struggling, you're tired, you're hungry, you're lost. If you were to say, I'm tired, I'm hungry, I'm lost, thirsty, and you say, bun it, I'm just gonna stay right here, I'm not gonna move, you know what's gonna happen? You're gonna remain in the rainforest. You're gonna remain in hell. You're gonna remain in the tough times, but you can't remain in the tough times. To get to happy times, you have to keep going. You know, the concept of happiness is, it's a funny thing, because by definition, happiness itself is fleeting. What do I mean by that? I spoke earlier about emotional acceleration, and I've spoken about emotional acceleration before, right? In 50 Cent's song, Many Men, he said that sunny days wouldn't be special if it wasn't for rain, and joy wouldn't feel so good if it wasn't for pain. Do you know what this means? This means that in order to feel good, by definition, you must feel bad. If you have no idea what feeling bad feels like, then how the hell are you supposed to know what feeling good feels like? You've been lost at sea. You've been outside in the cold, in the rain, for hours. You get back to your house, you get back to a hotel. That shower that you take is going to be the best shower that you've ever taken in your life. It's going to feel that way. That first warm meal that you have is going to be the best food ever. It's going to taste delicious. It might be a plain simple spaghetti. It might be a plain simple rice. But that's not the point. The contrast was so drastic. The turnaround from bad to better, from bad to good, from worse to better, made that simple task of that shower, it made that simple meal of spaghetti, rice, the best thing ever. I really want you guys to think about what I'm saying. You're literally, quite literally in control of your reality. But you have to appreciate the tough times, because the tough times are what makes your good times better. It's what makes your good times good in the first place. There's no other way. If you're going through something tough right now, if you're down, this is what this video is about, right? Think about how necessary it is that you're going through what you're going through, to feel how good you're going to feel when you finally feel good, when you finally go through it. Go through the hell, go through the rainforest to get to the land. It's gonna feel amazing, trust me. Nature has given us all the pieces required to achieve exceptional wellness and health, but has left it to us to put the pieces together. I don't know if you guys have heard the saying that energy is neither destroyed nor created, but simply conserved, right? It's a physics concept, a physics saying, but it's true. Everything that you are capable of. Some people don't like to talk about the universe and whatnot. They think it's all right, and that's fine. But let's say reality. Let's change the word universe to reality. Reality has made it so that everything that you need is already here. Maybe not with you. Maybe you have to go out into the world to get it. Maybe you have to go out into the world to experience something, to change yourself, to find something, to adapt to something. But even that something is available in your reality, because reality is set up this way. There's nothing created. There's nothing really lost either. It's kind of like energy. What ends up happening instead is you put pieces together and it creates seemingly new things, better things, sometimes bad things, of course. It's like yin and yang, of course. If there's good, there's bad, of course. I guess what I'm trying to say with this is, if you ever feel like you're not enough, remember that the universe, your reality, has everything that you need to sustain yourself by the law of nature, by the law of the conservation of energy and momentum. I don't know why I added momentum, but momentum is also always conserved too in a collision. I'm going off topic. All the chess pieces are available for you to move at your own discretion, and you have the task of moving them in a way that benefits you the most, that suits you the most. It's all down to you, your agency, your accountability. Never feel out of control. You're fully in control, quite literally, and you should always feel the same. The road to success and the road to failure are almost exactly the same. Listen, Colin R. Davis, he's the guy that, when I'm reading that, he's the guy that came up with this saying. Nailed it. He's a genius. The road to success and the road to failure are almost separated by a very thin veil. They're almost the same. I'll put it like this. Depending on how you view your failures, I can make the argument to you tonight that your failures are the most important thing to your success. I hope I'm making sense there. To be really, really good at something, for instance, by definition, you have to fail at it. Unless you're just naturally, let's say you've never picked up a cricket ball before, and when you were like 3 years old, you picked it up and you threw that shit and it went straight in the direction you want. Okay, natural born talent is totally different. Well, it's not different, but it's different enough. We're not talking about that. Let's consider your failures, your shortcomings. Your failures and your shortcomings are quite literally the most important thing to your eventual success. But the only way that's possible, but hear me out, the only way that's possible is if you view your failures as such. If you view your failure as like, damn, this is final, my failure's final, I'm just not good enough, I'm just like, first of all, you're shooting yourself in your own foot. You're shooting yourself in the foot. Because not only is that not true, you're mistaken there, it's not true. But again, back to the forest, the rainforest analogy, why would you stop? Because if you failed at something and you stopped, do you know what you are? Yes, you're a failure. It sounds corny, it sounds cringy, but if you never give up until you succeed, you're not a failure. It's not possible. A failure, being a failure, is final. Funny story, my car got MOT'd the other day and it failed. The MOT, the first MOT, I need to replace the exhaust system. So I got the exhaust system, I paid a bag for it, I can't lie. That shit hurt, like my pockets, that's tough. But you know what happened after? It passed the MOT. You know what's crazy? Let's say my MOT failed because of the exhaust, it was leaking, it was fucked up. If I just said, you know what, damn, my car is done for, it's over. Maybe I scrapped it, maybe I sold it, maybe that would be the end of its story. It's not until you fixed it, you tweaked it. The mechanic, he did his magic, he worked his magic. I had to shove the cash, of course, in this scenario, in this analogy. But you tweak it, and you succeed, you pass it. It's a very interesting concept, failure and success. Even success itself is not final, because if we talk about the mountaintop analogy that I brought up earlier, once you achieve success, you're only going to want more and more and more. As your appetite grows, you're only going to want more. And you know what you should do? You should get more. I never dreamed about success. I worked for it. Now that sounds great. That sounds great. It sounds like it makes sense, but at the same time, do not underestimate the power of visualization. Some people don't like to talk about manifestation. They also think manifestation, just like the universe, is woo, right? That's fine. But visualization, consider it like a daydream. This is please listen to this, right? This is because this is very interesting. I was listening to a podcast the other day, No Beast Mode podcast by Jeff Logues, and Jeff was talking about when he wasn't as wealthy as he is now, he wasn't as well off as he is now. He used to go to a Lamborghini dealership. Was it Lamborghini or was it Ferrari? A Ferrari dealership. And he would basically go and test drive his dream car. Of course, like the dealership, the people working at the dealership, they don't know whether you have the money or not. At that point, he didn't have the money to buy his dream car. But he would go test drive it, he would go live in it, he would go sit in the car, touch the steering wheel, grab the steering wheel, figure out how to turn on the AC, figure out how to turn on the heating, turn on the rear window wipers. He would figure all this out, how to indicate, how to rev the engine, because you know in a Lamborghini, Ferrari, all these sports cars, the rev is a bit different to just putting it in park and stepping on the gas a bit. It's like what's it called? A flick panel switch, some shit. He would do that in order for his mind to start thinking along the lines of his goals. Now think about this. When you daydream, when you think, when you dream, when you visualize your goals, your end goals, and how you're gonna feel when you achieve them, and what you're gonna do next, and the steps that you take, you know what ends up happening. You're going to do things subconsciously. You're gonna start to do things that push you and propel you in the direction of your goals. Think about it. Let's say my goal is to pass this test. And I think about it all the time, and I think, okay, I'm gonna pass this test. I want to pass this test. I want to get an A plus. I want to get an A star. The new GCSE and A level system is like a 10-point system. That's kind of crazy. Times are changing, but I want to get the highest grade. I want to make my mum, my dad proud, my sisters proud, my brothers proud, my friends. I want us to be all like, if they get high grades, I want to be with them, getting high grades and celebrating, going out to eat, having a good time. That's what I want. You know, when you think about that, you know what subconsciously your mind's going to make you do. Study. It's as if the studying is you're gonna feel a spark. You're gonna feel an ignition. When you study, it's not gonna be like a normal study session where it's like, oh, this is tedious, I'm just doing this because I know I have to. No. Once you've attached what you're doing to a goal, once you've attached what you're doing to a dream, a visualization, if you will, it just hits different. Subconsciously, it's like a hack. I really recommend doing this. Trust me, you will thank me later if you do this, right? It's like a hack. You're no longer just writing the paper, you're no longer just doing the research. You've incited yourself, you've added your own fuel, using the most effective, the most powerful engine that you have, your mind. I might make a part 2 to this because, you know me, I have a lot to say, a lot of insight, and I just love to talk about stuff like this. But anyway, I hope if you are feeling down, this lifts you just a little bit.